Welcome to the party, meat sacks! Wait, how the hell do I know that?
The original crew have returned, but Zombies has garnered tons of new fans since Black Ops Cold War in the Dark Ether chapter, so there's a ton of you who may not even know who they are. So in this video, we're going to be deep diving into just who the original Zombies crew are, the iconic four: Edward Richtofen, Nikolai Belinski, Takeo Masaki, and Tank Dempsey. With their surprise return in a flesh form at the ending of Black Ops 6 Zombies, this video serves as both a refresher for longtime fans who've followed their wild journey across timelines, and a solid jumping on point for newer players who might not know their full history. These characters kicked off the mode back in World at War, and have evolved through insane story arcs and adventures across time and space, and now they are back with new designs teasing Black Ops 7. We'll break down who they are, the key differences between their Ultimis and Primis incarnations from the Ether saga, what went down in their emotional send-off during Tag Der Toten's ending, and then analyze these revamped takes shown in the Reckoning cutscene. All of that and more in this video, so stay tuned.
Welcome to the party.
First off, let's get into the core of these characters, starting with Edward Richtofen. He's the German scientist who's often the brains and the madness behind the crew. In his Ultimis form, the original timeline version, Richtofen was a twisted genius tied to Group 935, experimenting with Element 115 for teleportation and weapons during World War II. A teleportation mishap sent him to the moon, where touching a mysterious pyramid device filled his head with voices from the dark ether, turning him into a sociopath obsessed with control, violence, and power. He betrayed his mentor, Ludwig Maxis, trapped Maxis' daughter, Samantha, in the ether to unleash zombies, and manipulated the crew through his grand scheme across maps like Shinonuma, Der Riese, Kino Der Toten, Ascension, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, and Moon. On the Moon in 2025, he swapped souls with Samantha to rule the ether, but it backfired when the others launched missiles that wrecked the Earth. Later arcs had him trapped in a zombie body, guiding the Victor's crew in Black Ops 2, and eventually allying with his Primis self before his demise in Black Ops 4. The Primis Richtofen, from an alternative Dimension 63 set during World War I, is a younger, more paranoid field scientist who studied under Maxis and lost his parents early. In this alternative timeline, he sees Maxis as a father figure. He's less outright insane, more calculated, and redemptive, carrying blood vials from a future self for protection. Uniting with the crew in 1918 France amid an Element 115 undead outbreak, he led them to free Samantha from Agatha, before heading on an adventure guided by the Chronorium book. He killed his Ultimis self, collected the souls of the original four with the summoning key in maps like The Giant, Der Eisendrache, Zetsubo no Shima, and Gorod Krovi, and fought the Apothegons and the Shadow Man in Revelations. Each of the characters all share a singular soul across the multiverse, so harvesting the souls of any harvests the souls of all. The only unique standout here is Eddie, the one who eventually becomes the Richtofen we see in Black Ops Cold War and Black Ops 6. Richtofen, rather than murdering his Ultimis self for his soul, fakes it in front of the others, but actually murdered a small innocent child version of himself off screen from Dimension 2-10 and put that child in the house earlier than the others.
Wouldn't you like to hear a little story? A story you've never heard? A sad story? It's the story of Dimension 2-10. The story of my soul. I was just a boy then, an innocent. I was a sensitive child, a lonely child, orphaned at a young age. I never got to know who I really was. But one day, I learned who I would grow up to be. I had to do it. The Chronorium told me I had to trick the poor little innocent me into trusting a complete stranger.
Jeez, Richtofen.
I took my own soul before it could ever have the chance to flourish. Is it any wonder I'm the way I am?
We will talk more on the souls a bit later, but for now, at the end of their journey, Dr. Monty looped them back in time, starting the process over. Until Blood of the Dead, when he sacrificed himself in the dark mechanism to break the cycle, passing the torch of protagonist to Nikolai. Now, Nikolai Belinski, the Russian powerhouse, Ultimis Nikolai is a Red Army soldier haunted by loss, an abusive family, a despised sister, and a beloved wife killed in the 1941 German invasion. He rose through communist ranks by ruthless means, but Stalin exiled him to the front, where he was captured at Stalingrad in 1943 and turned into a Group 935 test subject, losing memories to Element 115 and drowning his pain in vodka. He's comedic, dim-witted, yet survival-savvy. Hated monkeys and Takeo while bonding with Dempsey. He spins tall tales about multiple wives to cope with his loss and trauma. Joining Ultimis in Shinonuma, he helped retrieve Richtofen's diary, freed Gersh in Ascension, grabbed the Vril device in Call of the Dead, and the Focusing Stone in Shangri-La. On the moon, he turned on Richtofen and launched those missiles captured at Groom Lake afterwards. He linked up with Primis and Black Ops 4, fought in Alpha Omega, and met his end in the forest celebration of Tag Der Toten. Primis Nikolai, born in 1917, this time is a sober incarnation of himself. Intelligent and loyal, proud of his communism without the glory-seeking that comes with many figureheads of his homeland. He distrusts Richtofen but prioritizes Samantha's safety throughout Black Ops 4. His arc mirrors the others, uniting in 1918, killing his ultimate self in Grodkrovi after a confrontation, defeating Apothecans in Revelations, and stepping up as a leader in Black Ops 4 after the Knorrium revealed truths to him. He recruited Ultimis, secured the Elemental Shard in Alpha Omega, and orchestrated the final sacrifice in Tag Der Toten to end the corruption. Takeo Masaki comes next, the honourable Japanese warrior. Ultimis Takeo hails from a samurai dynasty, excelling with a katana from childhood and serving as a captain in the Imperial Army, overseeing Group 935's Rising Sun facility. Captured in 1943 Siberia and memory wiped by Element 115, he's reserved, philosophical, and bloodthirsty in battle, suspicious of Richtofen and clashing with Nikolai while earning respect from Dempsey. He values honour deeply and speaks in proverbs. Awakening in Shinonuma, he time-travelled in Der Riese, assisted in Ascension and Call of the Dead, and secured the Focusing Stone in Shangri-La. Betraying Richtofen on the moon, he ended up traumatized at Groom Lake, then teams with Primis in Black Ops 4, battling the Avogadro in Alpha Omega before the poisoning in Tag Der Toten. Primis Takeo, from Dimension 63's noble family tied to the Emperor, was sent to France in 1917 for intel on what the Germans were up to. He's even more honour-bound, initially distrustful but forging bonds, viewing German tech as unholy. By Zetsubo no Shima, he regains focus and respects Richtofen once he proves worthy. He freed Samantha in 1918, honourably killed his ultimate self in Zetsubo no Shima, fought in Grodkrovi and Revelations, gathered blood in Blood of the Dead, recruited Ultimis, and shared the crew's fate. His 1.0 self suffered immensely at the hands of Division 9 in the Predition Fracture in Zetsubo no Shima, for which Primis Takeo was able to share great trauma bonding over. Finally, Tank Dempsey, the American Marine. Ultimis Dempsey was an OSS agent captured in 1945 at Verrückt while extracting spy Peter McCain, then experimented on with Element 115, erasing memories but amplifying his tough, aggressive personality. He's loyal to duty, skeptical of Richtofen, bonds with Nikolai, and grows to respect Takeo. Bloodthirsty and no-nonsense, he is captured in Verrückt, joined Ultimis in Shinonuma, time-travelled in Der Riese, helped in Ascension and Call of the Dead, grabbed the Focusing Stone in Shangri-La, and fired missiles on the moon. Captured at Groom Lake, he allied with Primis in Black Ops 4, and two ended up at Alpha Omega and Tag Der Toten. Primis Dempsey, a younger Marine in World War I France, is dutiful and straightforward, wary of Richtofen but committed to his homeland and his mission. Uniting with the others in 1918, he kills his ultimate self into Eisendrache, collected souls, battled Apothecans in Revelations, broke the cycle in Blood of the Dead, recruited Ultimis, and ended his life just like the others. The big split between Ultimis and Primis boils down to timelines and tones. Ultimis are the exaggerated, chaotic originals from World War II, insane Richtofen, boozy Nikolai, stoic Takeo, brash Dempsey, memory-wiped experiments following Richtofen's destructive path, ending in Earth's ruin. Essentially walking stereotypes, existing in a horrific world full of a crazy story, but mostly jokes themselves. Primis are heroic primes from Dimension 63's World War I, more grounded and sacrificial, collecting Ultimus souls and going to Agatha, fighting cosmic threats like Apothecons and Monty. Ultimus lean, comedic, and villainous / a force of chaos. Primis focus on redemption, character stories, and unity. There is another layer to the return of the original crew in Reckoning that deserves attention. Every incarnation of the original 4 shares the same soul. This is confirmed in the Ether storyline. Dr. Monty explained it in Gorod Krovi.
You know how people say that every snowflake is unique? That every single one is an individual, a one-of-a-kind, irrefutable evidence of the miracles of Mother Nature? Well, it's not true. Snowflakes aren't all that unique. There are really only about 12 different designs. The point I'm making is that you lot are hardly one-of-a-kind snowflakes. You were fragmented across a multitude of different realities, but each and every one is basically the same. You are all you. The liar, the braggart, the drunk. The one who didn't know what he had until it was gone. The good soldier. Never disobeyed orders, never broke protocol, still kicked ass all the same. The loyal servant. A warrior out of time, born too late or born too early. Honor bound to dying traditions. The man-child, broken and twisted by a life burdened with knowledge. Living like a soul who is perpetually drowning.
Their souls were bonded with the elemental shard, which was created by fusing fragments of their essence with element 115. It's important to note here that it was the souls of Ultimus that were bonded, but it might as well have been the souls of Primis, because they share souls.
The four are connected to the ether. Their souls are linked to it. Richtofen did it. Then he forged the elemental shard. He bound their souls to the ether. All versions connected, linked eternally to the infinite. Now they are one. The fate of one is tied to the other.
In the Tag Der Toten radios, Ultimis Richtofen describes making the shard.
Using a processed rock of element 115 and the vril vessel, I was able to successfully siphon a piece of the souls from our 3 specimens and inject them into the rock. Without access to a fourth individual, I used part of my own essence. Much to my surprise, the rock grew and transformed, creating a beautiful shard of glass made purely from element 115 and parts from 4 human souls. The vril vessel, the elemental shard. All we need now is the Apothecon blood, and the Agathan device shall be complete.
When the shard was purged at the ending of Tag Der Toten, all versions of the original 4 across the multiverse were supposed to be purged with it, as they were the fabric of reality itself. This is why Nikolai was the one to hold the Chronorium and guide the crew in Black Ops 4 in the Broken Cycle. Because it was before Gorod Krovi, so he hadn't collected his soul yet, so he was the only remaining character to still retain a soul and give a 1-up against Monty. Nikolai's final speech in the Tag Der Toten ending cutscene confirms this, that I'll play now.
My friends, old and new, we stand on the brink of victory. Element 115, Group 935. The Helping Scourge, the MPD, the Apothecons, all of it will soon be gone. But tonight, we celebrate. When we are gone, so too is everything that spewed forth from the ether. Element 115, the Apothecons, even Monty himself. All of it will be banished to where it belongs. The Dark Ether. should not be here. Our time has passed.
The phrase, "when we are gone," applies to every incarnation of them in every timeline. This is different from the fate of Victis, who was sent into the Dark Ether physically, but whose souls were not tied to the Shard. This is why they had to be poisoned by Nikolai and purged together. If Reckoning shows versions of the original crew alive again, then something has changed in the state of reality left after Tag Der Toten. For them to exist, their shared soul would need to have been recreated, reinserted, or pulled from a new branch of reality, potentially liminal space reflections or memories from the old multiverse that got plunged into the Dark Ether. That would mean the single timeline may already be compromised, or the events of Black Ops 7 are potentially reversing one of the most final acts in the Ether story, and they may be retconning the way it functions. For example, it wouldn't surprise me if Treyarch say the new incarnation of the original characters are alternate versions from the old multiverse plunged into the Dark Ether, and they're going to change the way that the souls actually functioned and say, well, actually, it was just Ultimis and Primis that died, and it wasn't all of their shared souls that got plunged across the multiverse, meaning the original crew we play as in Black Ops 7 could be different incarnations from different universes that got plunged into the Dark Ether and were forced to work together, or even could potentially be from the same universe like before, but I would like to see a change in pace and see different incarnations forced to join together from different timelines. But I personally do think that completely undoes the established canon of the old story, because there were an infinite versions of the original characters that we just never got to see. Whilst Ultimis and Primis were focal to us, there would have been infinite versions out there completing the cycle unbeknownst to us over and over again. Just like Nikolai said on the Giant, he had killed many Richtofens before in many different other versions of the cycle, in which he describes very different versions of Richtofen that we just never got to see, proving that they were all on similar paths. I'll play that radio now.
It is not all bad news, Nikolai. We may have failed in our mission, but at least there is now one less Richtofen to deal with. If it is any consolation, tell him that the first one is the hardest. I should know. I've killed at least 3 Richtofens. There was the one in the fire, the one with the bolt hook, and the one... What? No one told me? Sorry. Forget what I just said. Everything will be fine.
We're all going to die! Maybe for real this time!
That brings us to Tag Der Toten's ending, the heartfelt close to the Ether story. After Primis Richtofen's sacrifice in Blood of the Dead's dark mechanism, Nikolai took charge, reading the Chronorium and uncovering Monty's dark ether corruption, similar to the Shadow Man. They rendezvoused with Ultimis in Classified, and declared the Great War, heading to Alpha Omega for the Elemental Shard. Ludwig Maxis teleported Samantha and Eddie to safety, but was slain by Monty, exposing his villainy. The full group, Primis, Ultimis, Samantha, Eddie, celebrated in the forest before the end. Victis, meanwhile, built the Agarthan device in Siberia using the Shard, Apothecon Blood, and Seal of Duality, stranded without Richtofen's portal. In the forest, Ultimis Richtofen zombifies, maybe life force, rejection, or a curse, or simply surviving the poison due to his zombie nature. Nikolai killed him, destroys the summoning key, collapsing the multiverse, breaking the cycle, and sends everything banishing to the Dark Ether. The Chronorium showed their actions fractured reality. The Great War was perpetual, with Monty looping them to preserve himself. Nikolai realized only slaying all Primis and Ultimis could save innocence, as they carried Dark Ether taint. He drew out their dreams during the celebration, then poisoned them secretly, with Samantha finishing Nikolai. Samantha and Eddie alone survive, pure, stepping into a reset world without Elements 115, Keepers, or Apothecons. Paradoxes resolves, loops shut, granting normalcy, supposedly through their sacrifice.
Maybe this'll turn Richtofen into a hot chick. Hula girl.
Shifting to the new versions in Black Ops 6's Reckoning ending, these are distinct reboots for Black Ops 7, blending familiarity with fresh twists. It seems that these versions of the original characters aren't Ultimis or Primis, but rather other versions of them from universes we had not yet seen tossed into the dark ether. Richtofen commands center stage, mixing Primis's mustache with a regal, modernized Ultimis coat and cap. His fur-lined coat screams cold weather endurance, maybe Soviet fronts, with a secure bag for vital items like a journal. Gold medals scream high German rank, a commander, and the eagle insignia echoes World War II officers, hinting at a Nazi New York map that we had seen leaked a while ago, but it's just a rumour, of course, it might not materialise. He's an aged field officer, not a lab rat, separate from Black Ops 6's director Richtofen. Takeo, to his left, sports loose hair and a thick beard for a younger, rugged vibe. His segmented samurai armor, fur-padded shoulders, and eagle emblem shout clan warrior, with a katana ready on his back. This points to a respectful, serious angle, possibly linking to a Japanese temple map from the aforementioned map leak that describes a Shogun temple with an erupting volcano. Dempsey lurks shadowed behind, looking just like Ultimis with a rough jaw, buzz cut, and bulk from gear. A chest strap likely for holding ammo and grenades. He is mostly obscured. Nikolai, right side, nails Primis aesthetically. Fur aviator cap, goggles, insulated bomber coat for flights. He is most distinctly like his Primis version. These designs, at least two of them, connect to some prior leaked maps for Black Ops 7 and may suggest that we are getting ready to explore their home universes. This may give us a story somewhat similar to the structure of collecting the souls in Black Ops 3, where we get maps tied to each character. But what do you think of the original characters returning? Do you think it undoes their sacrifice on Tag Der Toten? It really depends how they explain it, of course, but I think it is going to be how I said. I think they're just going to say, well, there was different incarnations out there that got banished to the dark ether, but they shouldn't have souls. They apparently all got purged. That was the entire point. They were literally linked to the fabric of the ether itself, which no longer exists, and got fragmented across the dark ether. And if this is returning and there's a semblance of a multiverse now in the dark ether, could that mean there's still infinite versions out there that we could even potentially see or learn about in Black Ops 7 aside from the ones we're actually going to play as? The whole point of the Tag Der Toten ending was that these characters could no longer live on. It was symbolic for the zombie cycle, but also us, the zombies community, being unable to move on from these characters, never treating a new crew in the same way and with love, and the same has been said about the Dark Ether storyline. So them returning is, I guess, sort of metaphorically showing that us, the fans, could not move on for these characters as well, which is why Treyarch have decided to bring them back. In a metatextual sense, I think that's actually kind of a good way to explain their return, but I'm not really sure it'll be executed satisfyingly. We will have to wait and see, and I really do think their conclusion on Tag Der Toten was a great way for them to go. They had to be purged to cleanse the multiverse and free them from that eternal damnation. To wrap up, I'd like to reiterate something I've said in another video that I'll link on screen and in the description. I've seen a lot of fans speculating that the die-rise loading screen silhouette, 4 figures before the house, Richtofen looking like Ultimis amid Primis like others, actually foreshadows this Black Ops 7 crew planned years later. The hat does match on both Richtofens after all, but zooming in on the details, especially comparing the original shadowy loading screen art to its full reveal in the Alpha Omega intro cutscene, we see the chronorium fading out. The die-rise version shows purple silhouettes against a glowing house, technically leaving open the possibility it could be this new crew. But the Alpha Omega version adds a full-blown sketched out image, clearer outlines. You can see in this cutscene a faded house backdrop, and you can clearly see the characters do not match the Black Ops 7 crew. Crucially, even at a glance, Takeo's clearly Primis, in his World War I combat gear, not the bulky Bushido, plating, loose hair, and feel-ready fur of Black Ops 7's incarnation of Takeo. It's unmistakably the mixed Primis Ultimis mashup we had thought it was before, not these new variants. The theory is really fun, I really like it, but the visuals debunk it hard as soon as you do a little bit of digging into it, and I actually have a video linked on screen or in the description explaining what this loading screen actually means. We already kind of know what it means, and it has a place in the old Ether story, not for the current story today. And honestly, with the fact that most of the writers who were there during those old Ether days are no longer there and we have new writers, I would imagine they don't really want to touch this or don't even know about it. Hopefully that catches you up on the original characters and these new versions of them coming back to Black Ops 7. I tried not to get too hung up for too long on any specific character, so this video could be relatively quick and digestible. My videos usually obviously go a lot more in depth, so if you like the quicker explanation videos like this, let me know and I'll try and do more of them and have a good balance on the channel. It's kind of hard getting them explained for newcomers as well, because with time travel and different incarnations and a multiverse of the past, it's so hard to explain them for new players. So let me know in the comments if you are a new player, how are you finding recapping on who these characters are from, I guess, going back to the old games or watching YouTube videos. How are you getting caught up? How are you finding it? Or are you just getting really confused? If you are confused, has this video helped you at all? Or are you still confused? I would like to know, but maybe it could help shape future content. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for latest and greatest Call of Duty news information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.
Everyone thinks Tak is boring, and maybe he is, but you gotta have that one stale guy to make the rest of us a little bit cooler.
To conclude this video, I want to shout out the fact that I finally decided to make a Patreon and Cameo account, both of which will be linked below if you want to help support the channel. On Patreon, you can sign up for the lowest tier of just $1.50 a month to get exclusive access for my Discord, where we can discuss zombies lore, trivia, or whatever you desire. A place where you lot, my community, can better connect. Your names will also appear at the end of videos thanking you. For $5.50 a month, you get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive monthly Q&As. And for $16.50 a month, you again get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive lore videos, such as unpacking niche parts of the Treyarch documents I've been breaking down on my channel that don't as much suit a main channel video. For the highest tier, only for those with the ability to and who really want to help out the channel, you get special bonuses I've yet to determine and verbal shoutouts at the end of every video. Over on Cameo, I can do funny videos reading lines from zombies, memes like how do we tell him, birthday wishes for friends or family, or whatever else you desire, practically anything. Of course, none of this is necessary, just watching and enjoying the videos helps me immensely and I greatly appreciate it. However, I think it's about time I start setting up additional revenue streams because Zombies' popularity is tumultuous and always goes through ups and downs. As I'm sure you've lately seen on the channel, viewership is down a lot. We go through big highs when new games release, but then during these drought periods, I need more income stability so I don't have to worry as much about it and I can focus more on improving the quality of the content. My highest quality videos are not always the ones that best please YouTube algorithms, so instead, this way I can produce my best work knowing I don't have to think as much about how well the content's going to perform. So if you'd like to support me on Patreon for exclusive content or would like a simple Cameo message, you can do so to further support me via the links below, but only if you can afford it and you actually want to help me. Don't feel like you are forced to, don't worry, I'll survive. It would just help relieve some of the pressure during inconsistent periods on the channel, so I don't have to solely rely on AdSense revenue and still maintain the sheer quantity and quality of content that I put out. Obviously I pump out literally a boatload of content and some of these are absolutely crazy projects over hour-long videos, so it's a lot on my plate, especially when these videos don't perform particularly well. And I've not been doing many sponsorships lately to help supplement revenue either, so it would greatly help. Thank you for any generous person once again who does kindly support the channel. It means the absolute world and will really help keep this boat afloat.